when it comes to being Bartleby, I'd prefer not to. Welcome back to Watching the Wall, where we dive into things that I own and have not seen. And our candidate today, it's a weird one. Like, starring Crispin Glover weird. So in the year 2000, we still had bubblegum pop. We had quite a unique outlook on life. Like, the 90s were over and everything looked like it was going to be going through the roof and it was going to be awesome. So imagine in that happy-go-lucky time, you see an advertisement for Bartleby.
I've given up working. I'd prefer not to. I would prefer not to say. I would prefer not to.
Will work ever be the same?
Just the name alone is really unappealing, but I'll tell you what, the cover doesn't do it many more favors. It's probably one of the worst cases I have, because when you look inside, yep, this is a Blockbuster. This specific one actually came from the Rapid City Blockbuster and it was closing down. My wife and I saw it and thought, let's get some DVDs on the sly that we never would otherwise. The woman who was checking us out at the end, we apparently made a good impression because we were just talking, generally with her, being our weird selves, and we were 2 tiers away from getting the friends and family discount. We got the cool people discount. I really don't know why that was a thing. If you're liquidating stock, I thought you just mark it down as low as possible, but no. I did know, though, it was based off a short story by Herman Melville. Yep, the Moby Dick guy. This 45-page story, in stark contrast to his best-known work, really got to the point quickly and told a small story about a small little man that the world needed to know about. Well, let's just read the back to start. When the newly appointed manager of a public records firm, David Paymer, decides his staff of 3 could use some help, he hires Bartleby, Crispin Glover, the one and only candidate who applies for the job. At first, Bartleby is a model of efficiency, but before long, the eccentric employee starts refusing to do what he is told. With the repeated utterance, "I'd prefer not to," Bartleby inspires complete and utter chaos within the workspace. Based on Herman Melville's classic short story, Bartleby the Scrivener, this side-splitting comedy also stars Glenn Headley, Joe Piscopo, Maury Chowkin, and Seymour Castle. Yeah, I'm cutting this whole part. I cannot pronounce this to save my life. I'm going to mispronounce all these last names, just forewarning you. I try my best. My goodness, it does not stick in my head. And my last name is really hard to pronounce. People don't get it right ever. How do you think it's pronounced? Put it in the comments below. Jonathan Parker directed this, and I'm not really familiar with his oeuvre, but thankfully, I do know what he looks like thanks to the DVD extras.
I don't know who he is, but he's like telling us what to do, and he's, suggesting things that we do, and he kind of looks like Woody Allen.
Would be that there's been a man appearing every now and then in the office. He bears a quite striking resemblance to Woody Allen, if Woody Allen were elongated.
Yep, that is all of the actors giving in-character interviews, and all of them make the same joke about seeing this guy who's walking around telling them what to do.
He tries to tell us places in certain spots. You go over here, you go there. Who the hell is this guy?
It's just hard to judge somebody when you have so little of their work that you've seen. I've now seen one of his films, and I'm really surprised how much I enjoyed it, despite the reviews that I saw. On IMDb, Bartleby has a 6.4 out of 10 as at the time of this recording. But on Rotten Tomatoes, not so good. The opening sequence annoys me. Oh yeah, I'm irritated. Yeah. Oh, and I'm getting seasick. Oh. The DVD menu annoys me.
Honestly, guys, I have no idea what to expect right now.
The end credits annoy me. Heck, the trailer just bugs me to no end. I can't even tell you why. The soundtrack of Bartleby is the theremin. Yeah, that thing from the Star Trek original series intro. That is what they chose as their through line. But I understand it. You're always kind of on edge whenever the character of Bartleby is present, because something just seems unnerving about him. don't know what he's capable of or what he's going to do at any given moment, even though most of the time the answer is nothing.
Bartleby's plan to take over the world is thwarted another night.
Imagine my surprise when, almost immediately after the credits stop, I'm watching The Office.
Yeah, I love her too. But it's two completely different types of love. Equally beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Hello? Hello?
And then we have the incompetent boss. He gives Michael Scott a run for his money on complete lack of self-awareness.
I'm in the record business. Public records. Legal notices, property transactions, mortgages, and the like. My office was located on the ground floor of a building perched high atop a rocky knoll, completely inaccessible to pedestrians.
He needs some extra help at the public records office because the city, they're giving them a lot of work and they need an extra hand in order to get all this filing done.
I am hiring a new employee to assist us in our mission.
Excellent wages, benefits, numerous perks. What might those be?
All right, Vivian, you write the ad.
Vivian the secretary, my absolute favorite part of this film. Yeah, even more than Bartleby.
Vivian, what is the repair status of the vibration?
Oh, the landlord has referred the problem to the general building contractor, who in turn has referred the problem to the air conditioning subcontractor, who has since gone out of business.
Where do we stand now?
I believe the landlord is attempting to determine exactly whom to sue.
It's so easy to love someone who's that straightforward. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Low pay, no benefits, dull job. Vibrating workplace?
It's honest and economical. Fits quite snugly into 4 lines.
Thank you, Vivian. That is exactly what my nightmare sounds like. But despite this lackluster description from the advertising space, Bartleby decides this would be the perfect place for him to settle down.
Of course Crispin Glover would answer the ad. Good lord.
Is he a weirdo or a serial killer? The eternal Crispin Glover question. Bartleby would probably be considered on the spectrum nowadays because he clearly is nervous with all social interaction.
I take it you saw the ad in the newspaper? Yes. What did you think of it? The ad. What did you think of the ad? Now that you've seen The Office, do you feel that we accurately described it? I'll forget. No. Sit down. I meant forget about the ad.
My awkward teenage self? Oh, I would definitely have lost many jobs this way.
Why did you leave your former job, if you don't mind my asking? The office moved.
Bartleby's a house cat. So this movie does love to take the risk on some artistic shots. And this one in particular, they used in the trailer, and I still think about it to this day. Yeah, Crispin Glover as the Riddler would have been inspired casting. This scene proves it. He looks so good against a green backdrop. He's always doing the same things in the same place, just with slightly different details. Everything becomes routinized. Everything becomes predictable. Everything becomes soul-sucking. That's not to say that every single member of The Office is going to be this same kind of worker drone that Bartleby is. Rocky's the ladies' man.
With whom?
How do I know? Until I get to the club and check out who's hot.
Ah.
Might be a sparkly woman with body glitter and baby blue eyeshadow. Or, I don't know, a vampiress lying motionless on scarlet velvet, surrounded by flaming torches.
How'd she get to the club? And all the ladies seem to like him at first and then quickly leave him.
Good morning, Rocky.
Jesus, is it possible to get any privacy around here?
Painful partnership dissolution.
The city manager will be here in 15 minutes.
We're wrapping up.
Ernie, for the most part, is just that employee that you know that just keeps talking about all of his problems.
How's it going, Ernie? Wow, not so good. My girlfriend's cheating on me, and my cat shredded 3 rolls of toilet paper all over the house.
Yeah, at least you got your health, huh?
I have gingivitis.
Until this scene. Oh no, Yuri starts to slapstick. Ernest in a one-man Stooges production. If I have nothing but nitpicks about this film so far, why is my opinion of it still positive? The main character almost exclusively says, "I'd prefer not to."
Bartleby, come in here and verify this notice of petition to administer an estate.
I would prefer not to.
Prefer not to.
This phrase was not very common at all in the English language, especially back when this was written in 1853. It's like saying, oh, I guess I'll do it, but I'd prefer not to. Until eventually you'd prefer not to do anything. He's staring at that air vent because he can't open a window, and all he wants is a little bit of breeze. This is a direct parallel to the short story, which instead of a little AC vent, had a tiny slit of a window way up high over his work area. And eventually Bartleby is just staring at that little window, just hoping for that bit of light to reach him. He's quiet desperation personified. He's a man who found no purpose in life and is refusing to try and engage in more. Even when it comes to tying up a gift. Look at this.
Bartleby. Bartleby. Your finger. Put your finger there. Put your finger right over there. Put it over there. Just put your finger. Put your finger there. Oh.
That's the tortured soul of somebody who just doesn't know how to interact with another human being. And I can relate. It's unfortunate how much I can relate to this. Oh my goodness. If I'd seen this movie when I was in my early 20s, I'd have thought it was the stupidest thing ever. I'd have said, oh yeah, this is just a guy who goes to work and then says, I prefer not to everything. But I'll tell you why it does work. Because Bartleby is not the star of Bartleby. See, this whole thing is really the story of the boss. The utter pride that he has, and the delusion he has about the job that he does. Listen to his first swing at the ad.
Rapidly expanding, vibrant public records office seeks dynamic, innovative, creative risk taker to interface with other hands-on self-starters.
Does that sound like the workplace that he's standing in? Does that sound like the kind of job opportunities he's offering? He knows he has to put some sizzle on that steak in order for anybody to eat it, but to him, working at the public records office in tandem with the city, this is his dream. And there's one man who gets in the way of that.
Naturally, you can understand I can't accept the gift.
Absolutely, you'll have to excuse me, but I'm new to civic duty and the impropriety never occurred to me.
It's okay. What is he doing?
Yeah, Mr. Waxman there, he's come to do just a little inspection on how the office is run. Bartleby is the biggest problem. You don't want to think that your public records office is hiring somebody who's just literally standing there staring at the ceiling all day. Because, yeah, there's not much to do, but there should be more than that. But he's actively managing them. He's involved in their lives. He knows who has the strengths and weaknesses. That's why Bartleby is such a fascinating figure to him, because he has those strengths, but he's choosing not to engage in them. He's preferring not to do what he does best. Despite the troubles he's having with Bartleby, he wants to try and accommodate him as much as possible. He only loses his temper with him once.
You haven't even touched the check that I left for you. Are you ready to work now? Will you file records? Will you go to the bank? Will you do anything at all to justify your presence in this office?
No matter what he does, no matter how many strings he pulls, no matter what carrots or sticks are presented, Bartleby just shuts down and refuses to engage in anything. But not in a spiteful way, just in a reticent way. He is someone who has given up on himself. I mean, eventually the boss has no choice but to do the inevitable.
Now, after you've cleaned out your desk, be sure you lock the door behind you since everyone's left for the weekend, and slip the key underneath the mat so that I can find it on Monday morning.
If he's been noted for staying in the office and living there, why would you trust him to lock up on his last day? And yet, despite this, Bartleby is like crabgrass. You're pretty sure you've gotten rid of it, and then suddenly...
Not yet. I am occupied.
Let go.
He just won't leave. He won't do anything and he won't leave. I've had coworkers like that too.
And that's when he remembers the interview.
Why did you leave your former job, if you don't mind my asking?
The office moved.
This gives the boss the worst idea ever. Moving the workspace for no reason.
Now, you'll touch up this spot, I assume.
That one?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, yes. Yes, we have a team. Actually, it's a great team. They didn't have a chance to come in since the last tenants kind of screwed it out. But once my team...
Never trust a landlord that says, oh, that doesn't smell like mold to me. Finding a good office space was hard even back then. But the effects that they use to show how isolated the workplaces are from the rest of the world is brilliant. There are no residential areas. There is no life outside of the workplace. Everything is work and commute. And that's how it can feel. Bartleby's history is a mystery, and it's left very much intentionally that way. I need you so much closer. He's so reluctant to even pursue anything that his goals are dead to him. That hope of looking at that window or looking out that vent, that's all he has. And he can't leave the office. He refuses.
Goodbye, Bartleby.
But then he gets a little bit of a notice from the new tenants in his office because the public records office was bought by Public Records, the record label. Oh my god, full circle. Oh. Oh, this movie is hilarious sometimes.
I used to employ a strange man, but I dismissed him quite some time ago.
He won't leave.
Well, I'm very sorry, but this man that you speak of is nothing to me. He's not a relation of mine, and I am not responsible for his behavior.
I actually do love this movie. It's early to call it here, but this is when I realized it's an allegory for giving up. No amount of outside persuasion can move somebody who is so deeply entrenched in I'd prefer not to. It's just a virus. If you sit there and go, no, I'd prefer not to do that. I'd prefer not to go out. I'd prefer not to donate to charity. I'd prefer not to put on my shoes today. Where does it stop? And it starts to eat away at everything you do, because I'd prefer not to becomes such an easy answer. That's the way that you lose yourself. The boss is pulled in by all the new tenants, and he's told, hey, you need to get him out of here. He's hanging out in the lobby. People won't come in because he's just loitering here. And when the boss tries his hardest to get through to Bartleby, to say, you just need to get out there and find something for yourself, Bartleby, for just a second, he lights up like, hey, someone's actually caring about me. Someone is reaching out to pull me out from this darkness I put myself into and put me onto a path where I can actually succeed. And he'd prefer not to. Bartleby wanders the streets in his nice suit, just unable to engage with anyone or do anything. When the boss finds out that he spent time in jail, he goes out and tries to find him.
Suddenly turns into a zombie movie.
The short story actually had Bartleby go to a debtor's prison because, he wasn't paying his dues, therefore you had to go to the debtor's prison, and that's where he eventually passed. We don't have debtor's prisons in America, but we do have the homeless population.
Why don't you come with me to my home where it's warm? At least until we can make some other arrangements. Please. At this moment, I prefer not to make any change.
Completely divorcing himself from even his own needs. He is not considering himself in the equation at all. It's not even self-loathing, it's self-apathy. There is no sense of self. He has no idea who he is, and I don't think he's ever going to find out. When the boss gets to the soup kitchen, he's saying, hey, I need you to take some food to somebody for me. They're like, that's not how that works. You need to come here. You need to engage and help yourself before we will help you. Message clear as day. By the time he gets back to the underpass, Bartleby's dead. And it's... I don't know why it's affecting me now, because when I saw it, I'm like, well, that's kind of a letdown of an ending. But that's not the end. Bartleby dying isn't the end of Bartleby's story. The boss, who initially hired him, then tried to correct him, then got angry with him, then fired him, then moved the office to get away from him, he writes Bartleby's story. He puts it into a manuscript, he takes it to a publisher, and the publisher, not interested. There's no story here. Why would we publish this? This is a story about nothing. And then the boss has one of my favorite rants.
What do you got a shelf full of books here that you just put there to make a buck. You can't put one story about humanity on that shelf?
I think we need to work on our ability to handle rejection.
Don't you get it? This isn't about rejecting a manuscript. This is about life and death.
I think you should leave now.
I would prefer not to.
And the more I think about Bartleby's story, I'm like, yeah, this message needs to be told. I can't think of a more prescient tale to be told. The only way that you're ever going to get out of a bad situation, of a bad headspace, is trying. Say to yourself, I know I'd prefer not to, but I need to do something. I prefer not to became Bartleby's motto. And that motto killed him. Because, yeah, he wasn't doing the most important job, but he was still important to the people in that office. Despite how weird and off-putting he was, there were people who couldn't imagine their lives without him once he was in it. And he didn't do much. But he was still a presence. He was still a person. A person who they saw and went, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'd prefer not to do a lot of things either. Outside of the workplace, he had no life. And so once the workplace was taken from him, he had no one. He had nowhere. And he just decided that he'd prefer nothing. Bartleby is funny. It is strange. And it's going to stick with me the rest of my life. This story has endured since before the Civil War. And I don't want to be Bartleby. I don't want to say I'd prefer not to in the defeatist way. I actually want to be the boss. He's trying to make these changes for Bartleby. He's encouraging him to try and embrace doing something. And when that doesn't work and it gets in the way of the rest of the office, he tries to move the office to a new place so he doesn't lose the entire establishment. I honestly still hate the DVD cover. It's poppy, it's weird, it's bubbly, it looks like it's going to be a 90s comedy, just be thrown away and forgotten about. This story resonates with me to this day. If you ever found yourself in a situation where you didn't know what you wanted to do next, if you ever felt hesitation about continuing down your career path, if you ever had that moment where you just said, why am I doing what I'm doing? Then Bartleby is for you. Yet that really does make it a very easy ranking here. It's between buy it, stream it, lend it, or toss it. For the extras alone, I'd buy it. Oh man, those interviews and the short form commentaries, yeah, they're not much, and you could probably find them on YouTube somewhere, but there's not a lot of this. The soundtrack for this had so few views, it was insulting. Thank you for watching The Wall with me. I appreciate you being here, and if you do have any suggestions on a format change or something that you want to see me do differently, just leave them in the comments below or email me at theothersocio@gmail.com. Yep, I'm still using the moniker for the channel because I've had it for 14 years. Why stop now? So remember, the next time you say I'd prefer not to, please be sure that you mean it. Don't just say it because you don't want to put on pants today. Bye for now! The true power of the employee. If you prefer not to, they'll just make someone else do it.